Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to get up each morning. I get better looking each day. To know me, don't laugh, to know me is to love me. I must be one heck of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. Such says the song written by country music legend Mac Davis. And we laugh and we giggle because it's probably generally considered that if anybody actually thought that about themselves, it would be the height of deluded arrogance, wouldn't it? You know, it's one thing to have pride in yourself. It's another thing to think that you are the best thing since sliced bread. It's one thing to think that you have skills and abilities to offer other people. It's quite another to think that you are God's gift to the universe. Holding ourselves up as the standard or the epitome of anything in life, it's kind of far out there. And in fact, we have a word for that, don't we? It's a God complex. And we say that people who have that understanding about themselves, we would say, are suffering under some sort of delusion. And so true to form, just right after our gospel reading, people respond to Jesus' statement in the exact same manner. Jesus says that he is the good shepherd, and people say, this guy's nuts. This guy's raving mad. Because no sane person would ever talk about themselves in this kind of manner. And yet here we have it. We have Jesus making quite the radical statement about himself. And in doing so, he challenges the Pharisees, he challenges the crowds, and he challenges us in the manner in which we see Jesus as the Good Shepherd and respond to him in that manner. So I want to invite you to pick up your pew Bibles and turn to the Gospel of John. This statement from Jesus is quite a popular one. And it's quite a popular passage to depict in paintings or in illustrations. You know, you've probably seen some sort of rendition of Jesus the Good Shepherd. I typed that into Google Images. I typed the Good Shepherd into Google Images. There were about 49,000 of them that you can kind of go through and look at. And they're all very serene. They're all very romantic. You know, Jesus is always generally smiling, and he's carrying a little lamb on his shoulders as he walks, daintily over, fields and flowers and all this kind of stuff. It's a very nice, poetic statement about kindness and gentleness. But this statement that Jesus makes is quite the extreme statement, primarily based on what the image stood for. In Israel, the image of a shepherd was twofold. There are tons of passages in the Old Testament, like our psalm, that talks about God as shepherd to his flock, God shepherding his people. There's this one main passage in the prophet Ezekiel where God says to his people, as a shepherd looks after the scattered flock, so I will look after my sheep. So the image of a shepherd was an image of God, of how God acted with his people. And over the time and over the centuries, that image then got also placed upon the religious leaders of the temple. They were the people who were seen to shepherd the faith community and guide them in matters of religious devotion to God. And we kind of do that here, don't we, in the church? Sometimes we refer to the congregation as the flock, and the priest as the shepherd, or someone who shepherds the flock. And so here we have Jesus standing in the midst of the Pharisees, the very people who would see themselves as religious shepherds of the community of faith. And Jesus says, I'm the good shepherd. He actually says it twice. And there's a couple of things going on here that we need to understand. Firstly, we need to understand the word good when Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. Because today, good can mean a whole variety of things, can't it? It can mean something that's enjoyable or something enticing. We say, oh, that looks good. It can mean something that was bearable. It was good. Not great. It was good. It can, in some instances, the word good can even mean not good. How are you today? Good. Okay. It's like the use of the word fine. You know that that's not actually the case. So good today can mean quite a lot. But the word that's used here is the word kalos. And it means good as it pertains to a perfect model, a perfected model. It is the epitome of something. It is good by nature and essence to the point that there is nothing that exists within it to distract from its goodness or its perfection. So Jesus is not just saying that he is, the gentle and kindly shepherd. He is saying that he is the perfect epitome of a shepherd for the community. And the Greek, and the way that this was written, the Greek makes it clear with the use of what's known as the definite article, what we define as the. Jesus doesn't say that I am a good shepherd. He doesn't say I am one good shepherd. Jesus says definitively, I am the good shepherd. Jesus says there is only one good shepherd. There is only one epitome of ovine leadership. And guess what? I am it. Is it any wonder why some people said, this guy is raving mad? The Message, which is a contemporary paraphrase of the Bible, puts it this way. The Pharisees and some of the people respond to Jesus this way. He's crazy. He's a maniac. Out of his head completely. Why bother listening to him? Obviously, the message is clear. Jesus says, it's me that you should be following. The image is of a sole leader who cares and guides and loves the flock. And it's contrasted with what Jesus calls the hired hand. Verse 12 and 13 describes them. A hired hand is not the shepherd who owns the sheep. So when he sees a wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he is a hired hand and he cares nothing for the sheep. So they're contrasting roles. There's the shepherd who cares, who loves, and is fundamentally concerned for the life and the health and the safety of the sheep. And there's the hired hand who cares and who loves and is concerned with his paycheck. Who is the sheep to follow? What's the better option? Who do you follow? If you had asked the question, is Jesus your shepherd? Is he the person that you live your life in reference to? Because the dynamics of shepherd and sheep are sometimes seen as, leader and follower. And that's how a shepherd leads the sheep, by being in front of them. But more than that, the dynamic of shepherd and sheep is a relationship that happens. The sheep see themselves in relation to the shepherd.